was in college, my roommate and I had our television on nearly 24/7. When we didn't have music videos playing on MTV or CMT, we were often watching some of our favorite movies on repeat. They were like background noise while we did our homework, hung out, and even while we went to sleep. During that era of my life, my favorite movies tended to be romantic comedies, movies like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, The Wedding Planner, Hitch. And my favorite of all of them was Sweet Home Alabama. No joke, I've probably watched that movie like 100 times, maybe more. And I can quote most of it. Now, before you judge me too harshly, you should know that I now see tons of problematic content in these movies. And at the time, I was 19 years old and dreaming of finding the right person and falling in love. These movies tend to follow a sort of formula. We joke about the ways that Hallmark movies do this. In each of the movies, there's some kind of conflict that keeps the two main characters apart. Sometimes it's a misunderstanding. Sometimes it's a secret that threatens to drive them apart. And sometimes it's a third person. In Sweet Home Alabama, the up-and-coming fashion designer Melanie Carmichael, played by Reese Witherspoon, has to return home to Alabama to finalize her divorce with her old high school sweetheart so that she can marry the rich city guy she met in New York City. As the story unfolds and Melanie searches and confronts her past, there's a sense that if she just picks the right person, everything will be all right. And she'll live happily ever after. This week, we're kicking off a new series called Love, Dates, and Heartbreaks. This is a series about relationships based on a series from Andy Stanley and North Point Church. And it's for everyone. It's for students, grads, and singles who are dating. It's for those who are single again and dating. It's also for those who are married and want to stay that way. I even think it's for folks who are single and happy to be single. It's for everyone. I spend a lot of time talking with people about their relationships, and I've also spent a lot of time watching people make relationship decisions that undermine their relationships. Maybe you've seen that too. I watch it over and over again and like, dang, there's already enough unavoidable relationship pain, don't you think? There's too much already without us adding to it. Sometimes I watch and wonder to myself, did you think that through? Have you seen that work out for anyone else? Did no one warn you that that was a bad idea? Sometimes people figure that if they're not ready for a relationship, it's not super important how they treat the person or people they're with. But that's a pretty heartbreaking approach to your interactions with people, and here's why. You're hurting yourself and you're hurting others. Now, I hope you don't want to do either one of those things. Here at Sycamore Creek, we have 3 simple rules to guide how we act. Do no harm, do good, stay in love with God. I hope that you don't want to harm yourself or others in your dating relationships. Because the harm doesn't always end the moment the relationship ends. If you treat people this way, you may be tempted to gloss over certain parts of your story, to sugarcoat the truth, to lie about how things went and why they ended. And you might not be only lying to other people. There's a good chance you're lying to yourself as well. Or maybe the harm extends in the life of the other person. You might be setting yourself up to be someone else's regret. When the people you date now tell their stories in the future, will their relationship with you be marked with fondness or regret? In the midst of all this harm toward self and toward others, I think that so much of the confusion that we have about relationships comes from 2 myths. Myth number 1 is the right person myth. You all know this one, right? Once you meet and choose the right person, everything will be all right. Melanie Carmichael just needed to pick the right guy, and then everything else was going to fall into place. So you just need to pick the right person and everything will go well. And if it doesn't, well, that must mean you chose the wrong right person. No problem. Just look for the next right person. And once you find them, everything will be right again. Right? Right? No, it sounds ridiculous all laid out like this, but this is what nearly every romantic comedy teaches us. Our culture reinforces this every day, and our actions often reflect that somewhere deep in our subconscious, we believe this to be true. But the truth is, there is more to a satisfying relationship than finding or being found. There's more to a satisfying relationship than finding or being found. If you want to build a healthy, successful relationship, it takes more than finding the right person or being found by the right person. Now, we're about to talk about all that it takes, but first, let's pause and process this. Turn to someone around you, or if you're online, put it in the chat. Where have you seen the right person myth in culture or in your own life?